I'm the guy on the bike.
And this is the Velo29 podcast. Good afternoon, Rich.
Afternoon, Joe. Hello.
Yes, we're coping through 4 seasons in one day at the moment, I think. Lots of wind, snow, rain, sun happening all in the last few days. But we are back on the road for the 4 events in episode. Is that right?
That's right, isn't it? Yeah, and we experienced, I was going to say enjoyed, but no, we experienced those 4 seasons in those 4 events. It was...
Yeah. And how have those been? Because I've not been hands-on involved with those, but I've picked up what's been going on. How's it been from your perspective?
Amazing, fantastic, brilliant.
Really?
You know, every positive expletive you might dig out of the book.
Wunderbar, fabulous.
I think our last pod, and it's been a while since we did a pod.
It's been about a month, yeah.
I hate to say I've been too busy because I think that's just a rubbish excuse. My brother doesn't send me a thank you message when I get him a birthday present, and then after 2 weeks he says I was too busy, and that's just rubbish because like he's got the 5 seconds to send a message. But genuinely, I've been too busy, which comparing to a year ago is something I'm incredibly grateful for.
It's kind of a word we like to use now, isn't it? Because busy certainly hasn't been in our vocabulary, certainly from my perspective, for the last years. So yeah. But yeah, busy's good from that perspective, isn't it? I'm not quite there yet. I'm still kind of waiting for the big things to
easing you back in.
Yeah, ticking over with a few little things. But I know I've got some stuff with you guys soon, which is really exciting.
Well, that is exciting, isn't it? Because I haven't actually seen you in person since September at the Tour of the Peak.
Yeah, and we are doing Tour of the Peak, aren't we?
Tour of the Peak, a week on Sunday,
which I'll be at.
It is. It's brilliant because the British cycling restrictions lifted at the end of this weekend, and so in time for the Tour of the Peak, I often feel like there's a divine intervention of some sort. I am a lucky guy.
Well done. I've been working on that, mate. You know
well, yeah, I know you are a man of the church, and so I do sometimes feel like we're a bit blessed. I've done the right thing, and someone's looking after me. But
definitely,
we had great weather in. It snowed in Stockport, but it was like. It didn't go on the road. It just snowed to the side of the road, and it rose 5 degrees during the event. So it was safe and beautiful. It was the nicest ever ride through snow.
The sun shines on the righteous, mate. You see, we're working on that now. So.
I should spend more time in church, but
well, you know, doesn't matter where you are. Anyway. We could do a theology podcast, but I think that would put a lot of people off, so we won't.
Perhaps.
But let's stick with cycling. So so the events that you've done so far have been good. I know, as I say, you've had issues with weather and stuff, but people are obviously really enjoying getting back into Sportives.
They are, yeah. I think we're edging to the end of that wave a little bit. Right. And I think Velo29 have absorbed that wave because the first event back at Stockport, it was just brilliant. And it's a difficult day. It's a difficult Sportive, and it's a challenging route in that there's a few. It's hilly, it's long. There's a few busy roads. Which
one was that one?
Manchester, Sheffield, Manchester. Yeah. I sometimes call it Stockport Sportive because to get the engagement of the local council, we agreed we'd call it Stockport Sportive. And actually, they're a brilliant group of people to work with, and so we don't mind doing that. But it sometimes gets a bit mistermed. So from Stockport to Sheffield and back. And everyone was just buzzing. Everything about it was just brilliant. It was wonderful. And then we carried that to York, and then Preston was amazing, and when we're in Yorkshire, we are, it's easy. Everyone knows us, they know how we operate, and we're on first name terms with so many people that it's kind of just easy. When we go further afield, it's
changes a bit.
It's and you have it's sold out. The Tour of Lancashire way before. I think we could have done 1,000 places at that. It's going to be, we have our iconic Cat Peak Beast, and I really think Lancashire will become the next iconic event because it's got everything. It's gorgeous. It's
Lancashire, mate. What do you expect?
Yeah, your home ground. Although I think you left for for some of those reasons.
I'm a complete hypocrite, you know, because I got out when I was 19, but I still class it as home.
Well, we'll probably have you back there in an iconic Sportive then, and you can relive some of those early Fisher memories.
But the accent will come back right, big mate.
Very good. There was a mix of accents. There was a guy in broad, not meaning it in any insulting way whatsoever, a very broad Scouse accent, arguing with me that he was at the start line at the right time. His start time was 7:16. And he got there at 7:16 and 45 seconds. And despite the 6-foot high clock that we have on the start line telling everybody what time it is, he was happy to argue with me that I was wrong and he was right. You
can't beat an argument with a Scouser. That's all I'm saying. It's the best.
I was never going to win it, was I?
You were never going to win, mate. You just have to let it go and enjoy it.
I did. Yeah, we had a little giggle about it afterwards. Brilliant. Me and the Scouser, but it was brilliant, and I think it's tough, it's diverse, it's got everything, so it will be a classic.
Grace, that's all I can say, mate. I think that's grace.
He wasn't saying it was great at 7:16 and 45 seconds. That's for sure.
All right, calm down. Anyway, enough of the generalisms.
Velo29 do not endorse the last 10 seconds of this podcast.
Joe's terrible accent and awful attitude. So what's next? So we've got Tour of the Peak in a couple of weeks. I guess this background's something to do with it.
Well, definitely, yeah. I'm in a racy sort of mood because I've been working on 3 days in Yorkshire. Yeah. So I dug out a 2000.
Not racy in that sense, right? Okay.
No, racing. I dug out one of our 2016 Stockton National Championship pictures, which was which seems like 5 years. It seems like a long time ago, but that was But anyway, Daffodils this Saturday. So it's going to be it's heading to be another wet day, but we'll put that to an aside because we had rather a lot of rain and snow and gale force winds and everything else last Saturday in the Pennines. So
how did people cope with that?
Not so good.
Right. Okay.
We've never done so much recovery.
Right. Okay.
I reflected upon it that we did and the riders did a brilliant job of getting through one of the toughest days in a Sportive forever.
Sometimes survival is just all you want, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And
it kind of reflects on lockdown, you know, let's just get to the end. And that's all we need to do. We don't need to worry about times. We don't need to worry about anything else. Just let's get to it. And then we move forward. And then maybe you should have called that the lockdown Sportive.
Yeah, I think some were wishing we were still locked down when they were stranded on the moors in the snow. But no, it's like anyone could do it on an easy day when the sun's shining, there's no wind, it doesn't rain. Anyone can do it. And that applies to the riders as well. Yeah. And if you rode on sunny conditions every day, you would not remember, and everyone will remember last Saturday once they got warmed up in a positive way. But we had to pick up about 60 people from the feed stop. And because, we're not allowed in feed stops at the minute because of the restrictions. And so we're outside. Now, in the old days, we'd have just put everybody inside, we'd have whacked up the heat in, and we'd have said, we'll pick you all up in groups of 20 in our minibus. We'll have you all home in an hour and a half. It's fine. Fed them, watered them, everything's fine. Because we're outside, you can't do that. And so we had people in the back of vans, taking turns, people in Portaloos trying to get warm, that kind of thing.
You're not going to get warm in a Portaloo.
I don't know. There's a little bit of heat rising from the.
Oh, please.
But
I think the adults only podcast the way we're going.
Yeah, there is a little box when I upload it to made for kids. I'll have to think twice.
Maybe.
But we did a brilliant job of getting everybody back, and everybody laughed about it, and it was great, and no injuries.
And that's it. If you can do a Sportive in those conditions, at the end of a pandemic, while things are still restricted, then you can do anything. And that's kind of part of that kind of feeling we're getting, isn't it? Is that we've got through this, and now hopefully, we can do things even better. And we've talked about this many times on the podcast, how actually your events are going to improve because of the things you've put in place during difficult times.
I think they have improved. And I think the company as a whole. I was thinking this today when I was just reflecting on the last month, really, because 4 events in, and we've got a whole load more going on than we had 2 years ago. So we've got all our events and they're the same, and we've got more events. I've got a meeting after this with some guys about a new event that we're going to be doing, which is super exciting, that I can't talk about, but we could do next week.
You didn't even tell me, by the way, folks. Honestly, I don't know until you know. I'm just saying.
How hot off the press it is.
It really is. It really is. I love that.
So that's going to be another big 1,000 rider plus event.
And I was going to talk about that because obviously the numbers have been restricted. Is that lifting now? Are you now able to get back to the numbers you wanted, or is it still?
As of Monday coming, you can have 1,000 riders in a Sportive, and hence Tour of the Peak a week on Sunday. We're very nearly sold out at 1,000. So that's great, because we would have had to turn away a lot of people.
But I mean, I've commentated on some of your events where we've had 2,500, 3,000 people.
Cheshire Cat, Tour of the Peak in some of the earlier years we did it. So yeah,
it's still not there yet, but
no, but that doesn't matter. And then we go into the summer where our numbers dip a little bit. So we won't hit the 1,000 again until we get to the Cheshire Cat in September. And I expect that there'll either be no restriction, or it'll be, we're talking about people in football stadiums and that kind of thing by then. So I don't think it's going to be
or we're back in lockdown. Oh no, shush.
Don't. Not by then.
I just realized I need to reference the elephant in the room, Rich, because you're sat in a t-shirt and I'm sat in two jumpers. So Rich is in his nice warm summer house and I'm in my shed in the middle of May, and it's still very, very cold.
It's lovely here. We are, we have snow on a weekend, but through the week it's really nice. So,
Devon, people think everyone moves to Devon for the sunshine. It's not true. We move for the scenery, and we get a lot of wet and cold rain. So that's probably what it is. I mean, most rain is wet, but particularly
the Devon rain.
Oh yes,
it's nice.
I wanted to clear that up, before we move on. So then daffodils, you've mentioned that, you've talked about that, and then we've got Tour of the Peak.
And then we've got 3 days in Yorkshire, which
talk to me about 3 days in Yorkshire, because again, this is something I'm going to be involved with, and sounds amazing.
We've always wanted to do a multi-day event, but I didn't just want
an amateur tour, isn't it? It's kind of like bridging the gap between a proper race, a proper tour, but this is for sportive riders.
Anyone who's up for it could take part. We wanted to give sportive riders that tour experience, because I'm not aware that you can really get it. You can ride something like Hot Route, which is phenomenally difficult and is actually a race.
But you don't get the gubbins of a tour experience.
No, but I think with this, and so I remember we wanted to do it for ages, and where would we have it? What would we call it? That kind of thing. And then I managed to put a lot of work in it, sort of back end of last year, and we launched it. It sold out very quickly. And then it didn't. Whilst it didn't get parked, I didn't do a huge amount of work on it again until a couple of weeks back, and then I did all the work on it around and everyone's got the event manual now around what's going to be happening.
I've been looking at that.
And it reminded me what a good concept it is, doing the event manual, and how I'd have loved to have done it as a rider, especially sort of after I stopped racing, and to go and relive that. I think it will be wonderful for them.
And that feeling of kind of riding festival, getting together, all that kind of connection is what we're longing for. But it's also something, like you say, that's been missing even pre-lockdown. So
it's going to be brilliant. We've built the start ramp. I've just ordered the backdrop for it, and it looks really cool. And talking to people, when my wife was picking up people in the Pennines, there was a guy, and he's so excited about riding this 3-day thing. He's been a cyclist all his life, but he's never done anything like that, and he's nervous about riding down the start ramp and all of that kind of thing.
There are few. I've done a few. There are not many multi-day Sportives anyway, but there are even less that are done. Well, none that are done like the way you're going to do it, and that's exciting. It's really exciting.
And the nighttime stuff as well.
Yeah,
They get to see us do a podcast live.
Oh gosh, that's going to be fun.
Hopefully that'll work well.
As long as we've got some techie dudes with us that can help us out. Because honestly, people, if you knew what behind the scenes is like with me and Rich, it's like, have you pressed play? Have you got?
Yeah. Oh, there'll be all of that to enjoy.
We've developed it. We're getting to a point where we know what we're doing.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, okay. And then we've got some special guests as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're really lucky that Harry Tanfield is back from his Pro Tour season. And actually, Harry contacted me. He was really keen.
Did he? He's kind of part of the family, isn't he? I mean, you've known him. I've known him since he was, young rider, youth rider, juniors, all that kind of stuff. And he very much likes to be part of his history and his upbringing. And I think that's brilliant.
Yes. Yeah, he rode for the team a long time ago when we had a team. So yeah, Harry's coming, and of course, he won a Tour of the Yorkshire stage. So how awesome is that to have a stage winner talking to us about? I have loads of questions as well. I want to ask, like the process of, because obviously we run our big races and we're aware of the process of that, but is it different
I was in that race. So the Tour de Yorkshire was the one race where I would be in the car. Normally I'm put at a finish line and I'm there, but on Tour de Yorkshire from year 2, I've been the in-car announcer. So I'm actually in the middle of the race talking about the fact that Harry's at the front or he's doing this or he's and that's brilliant. Yeah, it's really nice to be part of something like that.
You can give us some insight of your own then. That'd be awesome.
I'll have a go.
And then Jack from Ribble Weltite. So their team who's racing the Tour de Yorkshire, and he's been the manager, so he's going to give us some insight into that. Brilliant. And things like, I thought about the medals. What do we do with them? Do we just give them out on the night, on the end of the day, or whatever? But we're going to have on the stage with the backdrop, come up. It'll be meet me. Can't offer anyone else, I'm afraid. But come up with me. We'll do a socially distanced fist pump. Get your picture on the stage. We'll film it, and it'll, it's just a bit special. It's awesome. And
is that for those that have done the whole weekend?
It'll be on the end of the Sunday. Yeah. So last stage. We'll cross the bridge of the person who only finishes 3 stages and do they get a medal and all that kind of thing. But yeah, that's at the end.
I'll let you deal with that one, mate.
Yeah, that's at the end of the last stage. But then we're going to do a signing on. So on the like they do at the tour in the presentation, they all come on the stage. There's a few words, and then they sign the board. We're gonna do that. So at the end on the first day, so Saturday night, on the stage. So before they have the pleasure of us and Harry's company, the guys are going to come on the stage. It's going to be filmed and broadcast live, and they're going to sign the names on the.
I mean, how many non-professional riders will ever get that opportunity? Some of them will probably like, I don't want to, but
it's not compulsory, no. But if you want to do it, and show the grandkids,
of course,
type of thing. This is the day that dad or granddad or whatever got on the stage, and I think it's a tough event. There's it's not like we're not faking something that other people do. It's a tough event. There's kudos to it, and this is how we run it. It's kind of a tour experience, but there's kudos associated with it, of course.
So just for those that don't know the kind of ins and outs, you've got the time trial on the Saturday morning.
Prologue time trial, closed roads, so it is competitive. If you don't want to race, totally fine. But
it's not far, is it? It's kind of like
9.7 kilometers, so 20 minutes or less, something like that.
Yeah. So that's happening in the morning. And then you've got your first Sportive in the afternoon.
Short Sportive in the afternoon, yeah.
Yeah. And how far is that, Rich?
Only 40-something miles.
Yeah, so that's a short kind of dash around Yorkshire. And then you have the fun in the evening. And I know people can't camp because of, I know there's 1 or 2 opportunities people can't camp because of the restrictions, but it's going to have that feel, isn't it? It's going to have that kind of.
Well, I hope that people in hotels, we've tried to schedule it so that if you stay, there are campsites locally, and and you know, obviously they're an official campsite. They have space and facilities and that kind of thing. So they can offer something that we can't. You know, one of them is literally out the back, and I think if you hopped over the fence, you wouldn't even have to ride around. So,
okay.
And I hope that
there are facilities like that.
we know the people at the local Premier Inn, and that's completely sold out entirely with our riders. So that's just going to be like a race location type thing, and that's only a few miles ride. So I really hope that those people go back, shower, and then come back and attend the nighttime activities along with the guys who are staying in the teepees as well.
So you got the 45-miler in the afternoon, and you got the fun stuff in the evening. Then Sunday. So Sunday, let's go through the terrain.
So Sunday's a mountaintop
hilltop finish,
closed road finish. So Boltby Bank, which is tough. We're closing that. So it's a normal Sportive. From memory, it's 100 kilometers. So 65 mile.
Okay.
And the last bit is closed. So again, we'll time you up that bit. So you'll just ride and then go up the hill, but it's closed. If you want to invite friends and family, that's a great place for them to come and watch and see you finish, because they can get to the roadside and things.
Vibe. Yeah.
Gantry at the top, gantry at the bottom. And then we'll award a king and queen of the mountains, because we actually have, there's about 12 ladies doing it, which is really great because, you know, in a typically male-dominated activity, we're dead, as we've talked about, we're dead keen to have female riders take part. So that's dead good. Queen of the Mountains too. More activities on the Sunday night, and then along 100-mile road stage on the Monday. 8 o'clock start, because we figure, you know, majority of you guys have work on Tuesday, so you're going to want to get done, go home. So finish, come get your presentation, and as soon as you finish, you can do the presentation. We'll kind of run that through the afternoon. Get your medal, and off you go. That's it. Brilliant. A fully fledged tour rider you will depart as.
So good. Sounds amazing. Sounds really, really good. And as ever, from a Velo29 event, you've crossed all the T's and dotted the I's, and it sounds like it's going to be a great event.
It's another coming together of everything we do, isn't it? The racing stuff, the sporty stuff, the video stuff, the making it a bit exciting. Exactly. Yeah. It's dead good.
Good. So before we kind of say goodbye for this podcast, anything else you wanted to kind of fill us in on where we're at on things?
We've just launched our Freedom to Ride Tour de France edition. So we're moving to Prisic. Oh, I always call it Prisic, and that's because it dates back a long time ago. But Middlesbrough Cycle Circuit, which is a nice little 1 kilometre circuit. It's not as wide off as flat as Croft, but it's fast and there's a few bends. So we're doing Freedom to Ride Tour de France edition in July.
Such a good name.
It is, yeah. We pay a lot of royalties for that.
Oh, I haven't had them. Keep moving.
And that's the same format, you know, pitch you up, do some laps, sit on the grass, watch the tour, have a drink with us, and off you go. So they'll be brilliant. Limited to 100.
When do they start?
1st of July, which is a Thursday. We were going to do every Wednesday, but then on the Wednesday, we are in some of the other stuff we do. We are live. We're at Otley race. We're doing the live streaming for that as well, which is a massive thing. Yeah. So that's the coming together of a lot of work we've done over the last few years. So that's really awesome. We are putting domestic racing on the screens of Britain once again, which is a big thing. So dead excited about that. So yeah, Thursday the 1st, Wednesday the 7th, and Wednesday the 14th of July, which are all good Tour de France stages. So that'll be cool.
Brilliant.
Still do our dream bike races. They're popular. Get 100 people on a Wednesday. Do that. Yeah. Dream bike's great. It continue. You know, we keep finding new bikes. It's increasingly hard work, but loads of new people take part in it. I think in March we did 3 bikes and sorry, it's May now, isn't it? April we did 3 bikes and a load of accessories and other stuff.
And these are all top of the range bikes, aren't they? If people haven't done the Dream Bike raffle, they really are worth having, you know, for a couple of quid.
Well, yeah, we did a trek that was £7,500. I mean, who's got £7,500 to just go out and buy a bike? It's a lot of money for a bicycle, and so hence it is a dream bike. So
yeah.
And it enables us to support charities and do other stuff as well, like the streaming, the live video from Otley that's supported by Dream Bike. We wouldn't be able to do that otherwise. And I don't know, 100,000 people will watch that. And that is because of Dream Bike. So it's brilliant.
Well done.
So yeah, there's a huge amount going on still. In fact, as I started with, we do a lot more stuff now than we used to do. And we still do all the stuff that we used to do, and we do more stuff as well. So it's I'd love to know how many people, when they ride the bike, to think of Velo29. There must be a lot now.
There must be,
because we've touched a lot of people cycling in different ways.
And that's the thing also about this pandemic. We've talked about it on so many different podcasts, but innovations are coming out of the back of it, and it'll be really interesting to kind of look back 5, 10, 15 years time and go, that's where that began, or what happened then actually resulted in that. So however difficult it's been, something good and exciting and new, whatever, will come out of it, and certainly a lot of creativity. So really interesting stuff.
It is, it is a time we will always remember.
Yeah, well, there we are. And on that note, thanks, mate. Good to chat to you again. And we'll be chatting live very, very soon.
I know, yeah. That could be the next one. Live from Carlton Lodge at the 3 Days of Yorkshire.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Cheers, Joe.
Thanks ever so much, mate.
Bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Speak soon. Bye, everyone.
See you soon. Bye.